Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new market update. Today we need to speak about upcoming FOMC. We can see it here right in front of us on Forex Factory. You can see at 10 p.m. UAE time in Dubai, we will have federal funds rate, FOMC statement, and then the FOMC press conference. Now the FOMC is the single most important event right now. On top of that, we have two major earnings coming out today after market close, which is Microsoft, and we have Meta, right? Two big players in the S&P, and of course two of the biggest players in the S&P and in the tech space that will tell us about its direction very soon. And then of course we need to speak about the massive sell-off event over the last couple of days. Everything has just been selling. QQQ, so NAS, S&P, semiconductors, everything has just been selling, going down, gold going down, Bitcoin going down, everything just going down. So we need to speak about the reasons for that and where is market going. So let's get into it. Forexfactory.com. Today we're at FOMC. Let's speak about FOMC. FOMC basically decides about the federal funds rate, right? Federal fund rate is currently, or the rate is currently sitting at 3.75, and most likely the forecast is also 3.75. There has been high speculations leading up to FOMC that there might be a rate hike coming, but most likely not. Rate hike coming was, explained because of higher inflation. Oil, as we spoke about in the last update, came up massively, right? Oil came up massively, corrected here at the 50% correction level at a sell, right? And I unfortunately missed a sell by a couple of points, right? This was my sell, but I missed it by a couple of pips. So you can see we have been coming down a lot again, and now we are increasing again, approaching here the 50% correction level. I'm actually going to set an alarm to look for a sell over here. But oil has been coming high and up, and that's the reason why some people anticipated maybe a coming rate hike, but most likely we're gonna stay. It would be the second FOMC meeting for the new Fed chair, and the big problem here is that if you would hike already in the second one, is pretty hard. So I think logically we're gonna not see a hike, we're gonna see a hold for longer, and then maybe he's gonna speak about a hike in the future. I think cuts make zero sense at the current point, but this FOMC meeting is so insanely important because, as I just said, everything has been coming down, right? If we look at the charts, gold has just been dropping heavily, right? BTC has just been dropping lately, right? Bearish sequence confirmed. NQ, which is Nasdaq, just has been dropping and just continues to drop, right? Minus over days now, just dropping. Everything is just dropping, right? S&P has been dropping sharply, right? Of course, we can see semiconductors like SMH, where actually I have a put option that is currently more than 40% in profit, right? So this one is selling off. We have SOC semiconductors here inverted because that's a short. We are 100% in profit this morning, right? We are 100% profit on Forex leverage. So semiconductors are selling off heavily, right? Everything is just selling off. You can see Nvidia is selling off heavily, right? Light, for example, here Momentum selling off heavily, right? If I go here into the tickers, and you can see everything is in minus, all of our stock holding positions in minus, right? Everything is just dropping. NBIS 12%, SanDisk 7%, right? Just all overall we are insanely red, right? So this FOMC meeting is very important. We are also approaching midterms for Trump. And Trump is losing his vote a lot, right? He has only around 30 or 32% commitment so far, is the lowest that it has ever been, I think, in the midterm. Then we have the Iran-US escalation going on, which is kind of shifting more into a local problem here in the Eastern world. With Saudi Arabia becoming involved now, the Houthis, and then we have the second strait, right? In that sense, not a strait, but the second traffic route alongside leading up to Jordan, and then, Egypt, and then the channel in Egypt, which the Houthis could close the entry to. So that would be even a graver problem compared to the Strait of Hormuz, and Strait of Hormuz still being closed. So insane problems in America for Trump, and we need a rate hold, at least that, right? A cut makes no sense here, would of course be good, but makes no sense here. A fund hold rate, or like holding rates, makes sense. Increasing makes no sense at all, would just completely destroy the market, right? So we need to look tonight for a hold, and we need a little bit of bullish support here, where we could see a very positive outlook from our Fed chair, and that's the first thing we need to speak about, right? Because markets need to breathe upwards and need to go higher again, right? We need that. If not, we're just going to continuously crash, right? Now, of course, we need to speak about the second important thing, and that is Meta, and and Microsoft earnings. They're coming today, right? If they report good, of course, that's going to be very positive for the market, and that's what we need on top of a hold for longer, because you need to understand that right now the fund rate of 3.75, a hold, is already kind of like calculated into the market, right? Or even a hike is already calculated in the market, I would say. And if there's no confirmation of a hike, and that's actually what the market is going to trade, they're not going to trade the hold. They're actually going to trade the relief of not hiking, which means we are holding, okay, we have a confirmation that we're not hiking, so let's buy up again, right? And that's what is going to happen, even though some people that, you know, are starting in macroeconomics and all of these connections here, and they're like, hey, they are holding the rates. Why is the market going up? Well, it's going up, or it's going to go up, in my opinion. That's at least my prediction, because they just are going to trade the relief of no hike, right? That's just it, even though it's not positive news, right? Especially if you look into the Dixie has been building this head and shoulder pattern over here. And we are pretty high, right? We're sitting at 101, and we are still in a bearish sequence. It's kind of got broken recently, right, with the new high here. So even the bearish sequence here is broken. So we could go higher here, but I truly believe that, again, keeping rates steady as they are will result in us coming down, right? I don't know if we're going to come to 100, but just the relief of not hiking is going to bring Dixie down, or maybe just being range bound, just continuously going to the side. But I think it's going to come down, and therefore we're going to see a bigger up in gold. Finally, right, gold is in a bullish sequence, which is not active yet. There was a bullish build-up over here, right? And now we need to see, because we have been selling off heavily, we are in a massive bearish sequence. So if we just trade what technicals say, and all the technicals say sell, right? We have an easy way to go to 3.8 and then 3.5 here in gold, right? So we need to see this reverse tonight if FOMC comes out as we are predicting, right? Then BTC, same thing, right? Bitcoin, yes, is in a bullish sequence, and it's actually holding up pretty well here. Congratulations and hands up for Bitcoin. It's actually holding pretty well, considering how everything has been selling off, especially South Korean market, Kospi, SK Hynix, all of the semiconductor companies, all the tech has been bouncing heavily towards the downside, but Bitcoin is holding up pretty well. I was looking at the short today here on Bitcoin. Oh yeah, this is also here my QQQ position. I just closed this one. Just wanted to make sure I close it before FOMC. 5.16% in profit, very nice. It was a put option, just closed it, took some profits off the table. My SMH position, I'm gonna keep it open because it's a hedge, because I'm pretty long tech, but this one is doing its job perfectly. And as I said in 2 updates before, I am selling semiconductors aggressively, and we were right with this thesis. Even though we got a lot of smoke and hate in the comments, we were absolutely right until now. We need to, of course, see now that could be turned around, right? Now, speaking about where we were, where do we want to go over? We wanted to go over Bitcoin, right? So I wanted to trade a Bitcoin sell today, but just because of FOMC I didn't do anything, and then I missed, unfortunately, a beautiful Nasdaq sell just recently, which was somewhere over here. I think I missed here the sell. Yeah, this sell I missed, unfortunately. I took a beautiful one last week, and then I also missed a gold sell, which was basically the sell here out of the correction level, which was basically on this retap. I didn't get the 50% fill, so I was not in. So just missed opportunities this week with some profits that I just showed you. So far pretty good, right? We're doing well, we're well positioned. Now, the last thing that I want to speak about here is definitely where do we go from here and putting all of it together. Now, if you just look at the S&P, right? Has been holding pretty well, I'm not gonna lie, right? I'm not gonna sell here, even though it would have been perfect, but just because of FOMC coming up, I'm not really opening new positions. But I think, to keep it in simple words, my prediction, FOMC, hold for longer, right? Bullish for the market, because it confirms that we have no rate hike. Market is going to come up a little bit. We have Microsoft and we have Meta earnings positive, so therefore pushing up tech again, and we're going to reverse everything, right? So I'm leaning more bullish right now, with a careful touch towards the downside. We could see a little bit of bullishness just continue the downtrend, because the market says, hey, that's not enough for us. We want the Iran-US war to be resolved finally. That's another thing. So very, very fragile, the market in general, but we need good news, because if not, we're just going to fulfill all of these technical levels. We're going to fulfill the 696 level for SPY. We are going to fulfill the 3,500 level for gold. We're going to fulfill the 60K back for BTC. We're going to fulfill the 26.9 level for NQ or even more, right? I mean, we have already finished the first massive bearish sequence, which, you know, a couple of months ago, weeks ago, even like beginning of July, no one was believing in, right? And we, from beginning of July, if you look at this here, June, July, we went down so far around 10% for NASDAQ, right? That is crazy. So that could just continue, right? And you can see how massively bearish the market is and how massively aggressively selling is taking place, right? Even if we take a look at volume as a last thing I want to do here, is looking at this. But of course we can also, you know, just Korea's capitulation, Kospi, as I just said, Kospi has been dropping heavily. SK Hynix Exodus has been dropping heavily. Many people most people got liquidated in Korea over there because there's a very big participation in the market, eating liquidity, of course, with all of these sell-offs, right? And the crazy thing is the psychology of manias is, if you compare Kospi to silver, it's pretty much the same build-up, right? And that's what I always say. I made a video about that, and I want to show you guys that, because if you go into Kospi, what you actually are going to see, and I was actually looking for sell entries, but then I missed it and forgot it. But what happens often in topping markets is the three tops pattern: one top, two tops, right? So for you guys seeing this, if you want to you know, kind of like predict a market top, what I always look for is the three tops. And that's why I met this red line, because you can see how the highs are getting lower compared to before, right? You can see, for example, from this high to this high, it's not, you know, there's not much in increase. And from this high to this high, they're very close to each other, first of all, like the location matters, and they're very close to each other. So the closer the tops get to each other, right, the closer in terms of range. So from here, the high, new high, new high, right, they're very close to each other, but they're also not very much increasing, right? So there is an increase, of course, but it's not very much. If you compare to a real run, it looks more like this, right? You have a high and then you just push through. And compare this connection from this high, right, the recent high to this high. There's a massive gap of time in between. There's a massive rally in between. The location from this top to this top is a max increase, right? And then it continues. Same from here. We have this top to then the max top, right? Also massive to the first top, also getting closer, but more massive than before. So that's when markets are rallying up, right? But as soon as you start to see these three tops coming up, right, that's where it gets very, very dangerous. And we can do the same thing for SK Hynix, right? Let's check SK Hynix. You have, if you put the tops together, one top, sorry, so one top, two top, and three top, right? And then you have the mass exodus sell there we have seen in all of them, right? And from then the top to bottom, we have a more than 50% correction so far, 58%, right? It even works for, I don't know, let's pick, for example, let's see, MU also has been dropping. Same thing with MU even is printing three top CVD bear divergences, so aggressive selling. See the top, second top, third top, massive correction, right? So it's always the same thing, even if you want to go into BTC. And that's where I started to see this pattern now with 10 years market experience. Yeah, I've seen it so many times. But even here, okay, top one, I think I don't have to show you anymore, right? Top one, top two, top three. Okay, even though you have two tops here, but they're coming close to each other. So that is as one, that is a second, that's a third, massive sell-off, right? Always the same thing. So that's something you take into consideration. It's always, of course, not 100% confirmation, but that always happens. Let's see, Intel also had a massive drop. So in Intel, actually here on the weekly, we have 1, 2. We have one high, then a drop, second high. So here it's 2 before 3. I mean, you could argue in a daily and say, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, which is on this one, doesn't make a new high, but pretty similar, right? TSM, let's check TSM, same thing. Here it's even more, right? If we go into a weekly higher time frame, it's pretty difficult to see, but you can see top 1, top 2, top 3, or in the daily you can also see it. You can see the top 1, top 2, top 3, top 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one has been since a very long time, way too overbought, right? So keeping all of that in mind, guys, that is my prediction for the market. FOMC hold for longer, bullish tone, therefore markets is going to go up again and we're going to see a little bit of a reverse. Is it going to be the mark of the new run? I don't think so. I think it's going to be more when Iran and US end. So if FOMC holding, inflation coming down through oil, and then Iran and US cleared, then the markets are really going to rally. Until then, it's going to be very fragile, but at least we're going to get a relief run after today's FOMC and good earnings. If not, we're just going to continue to crash, guys. So any rate increases, any rate holds, but very, very bearish tone, any really bad miss in earnings today for Microsoft and Meta could turn the market into its current direction and continuously just, make it plunge and continue to drop. But I don't think that the highest probability is really good FOMC. People trading the confirmation of no rate hike, and that's going to be good for the market, right? With that being said, guys, we see us in the next days. Most likely I'm going to do another update tomorrow when all of the news are out to interpret them and to speak about how we're going to trade this market. That was just a quick update. Well, all of the important updates and news. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.